evening, everyone, wherever you are joining us from in the world. Greetings from me in the early morning light of Stirlingshire in Scotland. Now, as the 61st president of the Chartered Banking Institute, it is my great pleasure and privilege to be introducing today's virtual conference, the first of 3 short days discussing some of the most important topics currently facing the banking profession and community. This is the 5th time the Chartered Banker Institute has hosted such a conference, but for the first time, we are doing so virtually. So on all of our behalfs, I'd like to thank those who have made the switch to the online conference possible. Now, I'm especially proud this morning that although we can't meet in person in London as planned, as we normally do for this event, we can still come together and discuss what the future of banking might look like going forward. So today, we will be discussing the important role technology is playing in banking. Tomorrow, we will be looking at the importance of lifelong learning. And then finally, on Thursday, we will be covering sustainable finance being the future of finance. So please, for the meantime, sit back, whatever drink takes your fancy at this time of the day, and enjoy what should be 3 very enjoyable and thought-provoking sessions. Now, for those of you viewing today who may not already be aware, the Chartered Banker Institute was founded in 1875. So we have nearly 150 years of experience in educating bankers, and we have a network of approximately 30,000 professional bankers around the globe. We're proud to be regarded as the voice of responsible and sustainable professionalism in banking, with a specific focus on a responsible banking agenda, and emphasizing the importance of education, skills, and training in the banking profession. Now, one of the key strengths I've learned of this old institute of ours, the oldest banking institute in the world, is that it has, in its near 1.5 centuries of existence, faced wars, rationing, epidemics, and more than a few financial shocks, yet it has endured. As the coronavirus outbreak dominates the news and uncertainty is still around, everyone's thoughts initially were quite rightly focused on the medical emergency faced by doctors, nurses, healthcare professionals, and many others in the front line. So we salute them and stand looking on with awe and admiration for their selfless efforts. And I'm sure we all know someone who is directly involved. In the medium term, though, banks and bankers will be expected to play a key role alongside government to help rebuild businesses, communities, and personal finances. As a leading professional body, we have focused our efforts on ensuring we provide our members with support and guidance during these times. We are maintaining an oversight of the knowledge and skills needed to help to navigate the current climate, sharing resources, webcasts, such as this one today, and an extensive range of thought leadership with our members and the wider banking community. More than a decade ago, our institute was one of the first to move away from what you would know as traditional exam diets, where large numbers of candidates gathered together in a room at a set hour on a set day with nerves a-jingling. And at the beginning of this year, we introduced a remote invigilation service, allowing candidates to choose a date, time, and location that suits them. Now, not for 1 minute did we foresee the lockdowns around the world, but the early adoption of those remote invigilation techniques mean that we've been able to continue to deliver our exams with little disruption. The international influence and collaboration we have been building through our partnerships with professional bodies in Australia, the Bahamas, Hong Kong, India, Ireland, Malaysia, Malta, New Zealand, Pakistan, and Taiwan has been continued as a focus for the Institute. So I say welcome to all of you, wherever you are. We're also proud to have both students and professionally qualified members in 108 countries around the globe, all of whom share a common commitment to the Chartered Banker Code of Professional Conduct. And to our global family of members, it's great to have so many of you able to join us today for this conference. And thank you once again for your invaluable contribution to making the Institute such an important community. Particularly, I'd like to pay tribute to our friends at AICB in Malaysia. Good morning. FINSIA in Australia. Good day. And the European Banking and Financial Services Training Association joining us too. All welcome supporters of this three-day event. It is partnerships like these which underline the strength of our professional banking community. And such important relationships have been great reassurance to us through the uncertain times we are experiencing. Meanwhile, our Institute continues to stand full square behind the development of green and sustainable finance, having launched the Green Finance Certificate, the world's first benchmark qualification for green finance professionals. We recently updated as the Certificate in Green Sustainable Finance, and we were one of the first organizations to endorse the United Nations Principles for Responsible Banking, and are promoting these to our members and through our international networks. We also led the formation of the Green Finance Education Charter, launched virtually at the end of June. Now, the Charter is a significant commitment from chartered and professional bodies in the UK and internationally to integrating green finance and sustainability into their core curriculums, new qualifications, and the continued professional development of their members. Now, you may ask, in the light of current health and economic disruption, has the importance and urgency of enhancing sustainable banking and finance lessened? Well, certainly in the short term, in terms of most countries' immediate priorities, perhaps yes, rightly so. In many countries, policy regulations, central banking activities, and so on are now quite rightly focused on the immediate health and economic recovery measures. Until we have a vaccine, or at the very least mass testing, we will still be dealing with health and economic emergencies, unprecedented in all of our lifetimes. However, beyond that near term, the impacts of global warming on individuals, communities, and our world will dwarf those of COVID-19, which is why tackling the climate emergency remains a priority for policymakers and regulators. From a financial standpoint, central bankers have become increasingly concerned about climate risks in recent years, especially the risks of rapid transition, stranded assets, and their impact on financial stability. Now, we recently caught a glimpse of what the world could look like if there was a significant impairment of stranded fossil fuel reserves. Now, this should prompt action from financial institutions heavily exposed to carbon assets and moves towards reducing fossil fuel exposure in portfolios is already happening. So I would argue Sustainable finance is significantly important, and mainstreaming sustainable banking and finance is more urgent. Alongside the very significant commercial and investment opportunities for financial services it provides, there is an even more compelling moral case. Sustainable banking and finance is an opportunity for our banking profession to demonstrate our positive social purpose. We can and we must help rebuild lives and communities post-COVID-19 and beyond. We must play in leading a role in helping individuals, communities, countries, and our planet to transition to a sustainable, more socially just, low carbon world. And with all of that in mind, I very much look forward to the discussions on green and sustainable finance on Thursday. Alongside this, the future of banking and the impact of digital transformation in banking is one of our key strategic imperatives, running through all of our qualifications, continuous professional development courses, and our investment in thought leadership too. The world of banking has undoubtedly changed considerably since the Chartered Institute was first established all those years ago. In recent times, some regard it as changing almost beyond recognition, driven by greater competition, greater globalization, significant socio-demographic changes, and of course, by the greater possibilities created by new technologies. Now, I wonder what President numbers 1 or 5 or 7 of the Chartered Banker Institute would make of the present President number 61 talking to you in this medium from Scotland to a global audience out there in the world. So when we talk about the future of banking, we not only reflect on the changing nature of the profession in the digital era, but also reflect on the skills, expertise, and professional judgment that will be required by bankers of the future. The Institute's view is that despite everything we hear and read about artificial intelligence, crypto, blockchains, fintech, digital banking, electronic trading, and robo-advising, at the very heart of banking remains the essential human capital, and that our profession depends upon, and perhaps even more than ever, financial and technical capital. People are key. This will inevitably have an impact on the future knowledge and skills required by chartered bankers. Some parts of banking may become partly or fully de-skilled or be fully automated, but other aspects will require highly qualified banking professionals, skilled in credit, risk, banking operations, regulation, technology, sustainable finance, and of course, able to apply professional and ethical judgment. That will be shaped by their expertise, their experience, and commitment to the professional values set out in the Chartered Banker Code of Professional Conduct. We believe that highly qualified, knowledgeable, skilled, dedicated, and customer-focused banking professionals will shape the future of banking as much as the new technologies that are transforming our world are. High levels of technical banking knowledge combined with empathy, emotional intelligence, and good communication skills will be even more important than before. And as bankers, we will need to develop and apply professional judgment to support individuals and businesses in these challenging times. Now, as we look ahead, the key theme running through all we do, from our qualifications and learning, our member benefits and services, to our events like this, will be that of responsible banking. As the world economy and societies try to rebuild a better way from the effects of the pandemic, responsible banking needs to be led by professional bankers, and we need to ensure that the future of banking is one that reflects and celebrates the diversity in our world, something I'm sure we will touch on throughout the course of these 3 days.